Richard, and I live in South Torrance, and I've been tracking the refinery issues. And I sent an email to you, and I'm the city council and the city clerk and various others, just outlining what I perceived, what had been found by the CSB, and then in the lawsuit filed last week by the Department of Justice against ExxonMobil. And instead of going over that in my time, I just want to say the same thing, that there is a record of continuous negligence, lax process safety management, and people who have been watching this find that they feel that we are at risk for another major event. And I just find it really necessary for you to try to look at these findings in that light. And people who are paying attention, they want you to take a much more aggressive stand in the lax procedures. That's basically somehow, whether it be to testify with regard to the process in the Department of Justice lawsuit, to encourage PBF to open up its records on process safety management and procedures for preventing accidents, but the community feels at risk. And the fire department seems to repeat the party line, and we are faced with the threat of an accident. If it happens, you would really have a lot of damage on your hands, and you should really try to get the current owner of the refinery to understand that this really is a long record of internal or whatever collusion with the powers that be. We've found that there is a real systematic tendency to always say the corporation is doing it right when the corporation is doing it for profit. And so, again, this is a plea. There's nothing that I can say
so
that
earning profit is
you,
wrong?
But I hope that this is a real warning, because the Department of Justice has filed this lawsuit, and I've listed what I consider important. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Here comes the MHF people.
Thank you. Dr. Gangman, 215 Lenore Street, Torrance, California. Yeah, I would also like to speak about HF and MHF and the DOJ report. I've been attending several meetings, and one of the things we heard back in October, or about a year or so ago, was that the 30% MHF modifier got reduced to 10%. There's been a lot of question about exactly how that happened, and I think every one of you have at one point or another sort of nodded wisely that that 10% is okay. But recently, on April 1 and 8, President Dill of PBF Energy, who's here, and he can validate it, I hope, said it's 8% modifier. So that raises a little flag. And I was at a 19th April working group, and there a PBF person disclosed it's 7%. And so I asked the city staff person, how is it that now 10 has become 7? Doesn't this violate the consent decree? And the only answer I got was, everything that is legally required has been done. So 50 to 30 to 10 to 8 to 7, I wish you'd hold a public hearing and tell us what really the truth is about that. So that's part one. Part two is that everybody has always said that a little bit of modifier goes a long way. That was one of your presentations. And the DOJ, basically in their lawsuit, what they quoted here, and I'm taking what McQueen wrote as somewhat accurate, that I understand that there's a question because, but when he quotes the DOJ, Let me just read the quote. According to the Department of Justice lawsuit, investigators are reviewing the September 6, 2015 leak of modified hydrochloric acid. The leak occurred from a pipe plant. The lawsuit reads, this is the DOJ lawsuit, Exxon had installed the plant to patch an aging pipe instead of replacing it. Over 5 pounds of modified hydrochloric acid was released as a white vapor cloud over 2 hours. And the people who say MHF is safe has always said it doesn't prevent a vapor cloud from forming. The DOJ is now on record as saying the kind of MHF that's in the refinery does form a vapor cloud, and so the safety is not there. And I urge you to try to hold a meeting to help discuss this more with the community so that we can understand how unsafe we are. Maybe that someday you will help us make us safer. Thank you.